Check this out. This is the Aiper IrriSense smart irrigation system, which is pretty much just a bona fide smart sprinkler that as it's turning 360 degrees, you can program how far you want the water to fly out. It can go all the way down from just a couple feet all the way up to 39 feet away from the sprinkler. But being a brand new type of product on the market, there's definitely some limitations that you want to know about. In today's video, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you're going to want to know about this before you decide to buy it, including how I increase the distance simply by doing 2 things, which you're definitely going to want to test for yourself. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what I think about this and what could make it better, as there are definitely some cons I do have with this as a first generation product, but it's still really cool. So without further ado, let's jump in the video. First off, I want to thank Aiper for sending this out to me for a full honest review, but I do not allow any other types of sponsorships on any of my channels, so you know you're going to get the honest truth, as I'm going to tell you like it is no matter what. And if you still love this product, there'll be affiliate links down below. We can get pricing and information. All right, first thing that you want to know is that you definitely want to plan this sprinkler system. This is not just your average sprinkler system where you can pull it out, set it up, and move it around your yard. Right now, it is limited to one spot within your yard. Hopefully in the future, as this product grows and the firmware gets worked on, you'll be able to move this to different locations in your yard. But currently you can only use one map based off of one location. So you definitely have to plan this out correctly and have a place for this, which is ideal for this type of sprinkler. And by what I mean by that is that you not only just need a water source, you also need a power source. It does come with, like, I think it's a 36-foot wire that you will have to plug in, and to definitely keep that in mind. In addition to your normal water hose, you'll also need to have a outlet outdoor, because this does connect to your phone via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, which I'll talk more about issues I've had with the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth later in this video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But I digress. As far as planning goes, you need to make sure not only do you have the water, you have the power, but you also have the area where you want to water. Now, understand, yes, you can adjust the water pressure and how far this goes. And they do mention this can go up to 39 feet. But it's really a big asterisk of that 39 feet, because my number 2 thing that you're going to want to know in just a moment. But as you're playing this out, say you have the best water pressure and everything that they mention, you really want to plan out where you're going to be watering and what you're going to be watering. Yes, you can adjust it of how far it goes up to the 39 feet, and you can map out from all the way from a left-handed position to a right-hand position to all the way around 360 degrees. Now, understand, you don't have to do that 360 degrees. You can do 90, you can do 180, and then it's just going to go back and forth. Which, by the way, if you're doing 360, it doesn't keep on going 360, it actually turns back around the other way. I did notice there's a little bug when it goes back the other way. It kind of just goes back and then comes forward, goes back and comes forward, then goes all the way back. So it's kind of wishy-washy of where it gets that to the end and it doesn't know what to do. That's just a bug within the system, but hopefully they'll fix that soon. But as you're planning this out, you want to make sure that there's nothing in the way. Maybe there's a tree, maybe there's a bush. So understand what this can do and what this cannot. There's only one stream that comes out of here. It's not multiple streams. Yes, there's a little tiny piece of plastic kind of fans out the water. So if you're watering grass, not just the furthest location gets the water, but it kind of just sprinklers everything underneath of it. Now, the second thing that you're definitely going to want to know, which is probably the most important thing here that you really want to listen to, is the distance that this water sprinkler can shoot the water. Now, they mention per the spec that it can go up to 39 feet, but that requires 45 psi of constant water pressure with a 6.9 gallons per minute flow rate, which is about 26 liters per minute. Now, that is really hard to do, in my opinion. Yes, my house had that about 45 psi, but when I first hooked this up and tested the amount of flow that I got, I was only getting like 4 gallons per minute, and that equaled the maximum of 24 feet I can throw this water. And I did some research, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and through trial and error, yes, I figured it out. Obviously, you're going to test for your house and your system. My piping system to my outdoor spigot is 1/2 inch piping. That's going to be the main limitation. If you have 3/4 inch piping, you can do different things, maybe have more gallons per minute, simply right off the cusp. But for me, two things that I did. Number one, which my hose bib is not your average hose bib. I do have an R-Core Hydrant V1 Plus that you do have to have this adapter. But when I first tested this out, the maximum I could get using 5/8 inch hose was at 24 feet. But I noticed that got further distance when I was using the backflow adapter. Now, I don't understand why, I don't understand the science, but for whatever reason, when I was using a backflow adapter instead of the normal fully open adapter, this did much better as far as distance. That was a huge factor. But that is not the only thing that I tried out. I also changed the hose from a normal 5/8 inch hose all the way up to a 3/4 inch hose. Now, yes, like I mentioned, my plumbing is only 1/2 inch piping. So I don't understand the science here or how it all works, but I did see a noticeable increase in distance when I had the 3/4 inch hose and also the backflow preventer. So you're going to have to try for your house and your system. These are just two things that I did to get further distance. And when I had both these hooked up to the IrriSense, I got about 36, maybe even 37 feet with a flow rate of 6.12 gallons per minute, which is not what they recommend. They recommend 6.9 gallons per minute, which provides 39 feet. But with my 6.12 gallons per minute, I got about 36 to 37 feet, which is definitely a huge improvement over my original 24 feet. So I hope that this helps you. Definitely give it a try and see what works for you. Obviously, every system is different. Everyone's plumbing is different. Everyone's setup, everyone's hose is all different. It's just a trial and error. But understand when they say 39 feet, understand that's at 45 psi with a 6.9 gallons per minute. If you have a higher pressure, you're going to get different gallons per minute. There's just different things. There's so many variables. You're just going to have to try it yourself. And talking about PSI, there is a meter on top. Just disregard that thing altogether. That thing is totally wrong. I tested my PSI directly at the hose spigot and I got about 45 each and every time. That thing was not even close, and it adjusted depending on how far the water was throwing. It's more the water pressure like coming out, not what's coming in. So disregard that whole thing altogether. I don't know why they have it on there. If it's actually monitoring what pressure is coming in, then maybe that would make more sense. I can tell you it just kept jumping around depending on how far I programmed the water to throw, and that is not the PSI that's coming in. And for those who are wondering, yes, I did try different size quick connects, but the results were very negligible. And now moving on to the third thing that you're going to want to know is about programming the app, how this all works. And I gotta admit, the app is kind of buggy. It's definitely a first generation product and a first generation app when it comes to the IrriSense. Yes, Aiper is great for having pool cleaners, but their apps are not amazing. Their pool cleaners are amazing. They just really need to develop this app for all their products and really get down and dirty in making fine tuning all these little things that need to work out for their purchasers. For instance, you can only have one map. So if you want to move this to a different location, you have to delete the map. If you want to edit a map, you cannot edit a map. You have to delete it and recreate it, which takes time because as you're mapping out where you want this to turn and how far you want to throw the water, you have to do each pinpoint within the app, and all that takes time. Or it'd be so much easier if you want to change something to be able to edit, but unfortunately right now all you can do is delete one map and then redo the map. Now I think eventually you'll be able to have multiple maps, which will be cool, but right now understand it does not. And hopefully in the near future there have like the little, when you set this up, you have these little orange triangles. They only include one triangle that you put into the ground and then you stake it down to the ground. But I kind of feel like if you had multiple triangles, that will pinpoint the exact location for multiple places. So you can move this around and have that exact location based off of multiple maps. Understand that feature is not available, and having multiple little triangle things that you place in the ground is not available either. I kind of think that's where they're going, and be really cool if you can move this to different locations, select what map that you want, and be done and good to go. Now understand you also have 4 stakes, so that's just things you're going to have to unscrew and take out from location to location. And then once you set up the map for that location, you can set up a schedule depending on how many times a week that you want to run this. It's totally up to you. Just be aware there's only one map. You do have to have power, you do have to have a water source, so you really have to plan this out. That's so important. Make sure you plan this out. I can't emphasize enough, you really need to plan this before you buy the smart irrigation sprinkler system. And then also inside the app, as you're scheduling this, you can say how much water you want to schedule. And also in the app, you can say each time that it makes a run, it could do 3 millimeters of water, 6 millimeters of water, or 12 millimeters of water. And obviously you can connect to this via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi and be able to turn it on whenever you like. It's also like a cool setting or cooling yard setting, which I kind of don't understand. It just does a 3 millimeter watering, so it cools off the yard. So if your kids want to play in the yard, you can cool it down a little bit or something. I just don't understand why that feature is there, but it's just a quick and easy way to throw out some water really quick. But like I said earlier, this app is buggy. There's definitely a lot of things they have to work out. They also have to work out the Wi-Fi does not stay connected for whatever reason. So when you go out there, you have to hold down the button so it connects to Bluetooth, and then it'll reconnect to Wi-Fi. There's just a bunch of bugs with it that they just need to work out. You should be constantly connected to Wi-Fi, but for whatever reason, it is not. But as soon as you get close to it, you turn the Bluetooth back on, that will turn on the Wi-Fi. But for whatever reason, the Wi-Fi is not always on, and it should be. In addition, in the app there is 2 weather settings. There's one weather setting that's based off of information it gets from the internet, which I kind of felt was kind of useless. It was totally wrong most of the time. But there's also a physical rainfall sensor built on top of the unit that does work fairly well, but understand it needs to be a good amount of rain for that sensor to work. If it's just a little drizzle, it's not going to pick up just a little drizzle. And then lastly, as a bonus, down towards the bottom front, there is a panel that you can remove. Now, I'm not quite sure what this is for. I did see this little black stem that kind of had like where you can put in a flat screwdriver and turn. But when I tried to do that, it actually broke and it doesn't turn. So I'm not quite sure what that is for, what that area is for, what that black stem is for. I have no clue. It would be cool if there's future accessories that would go in here and make this thing even better, but who knows what it's really for. If you have any thoughts of what this area might be for, let me know down in the comments below. All in all, this has a lot of great potential. Like I said, this is a 1st generation product for Aiper, and it definitely needs work, but they have a lot of potential. They just need to update the app, make a few changes here and there. And I think this thing can definitely be awesome. And even the way that it is, it's pretty good. It just needs to be fine-tuned so it's more user-friendly and useful, where you can move it to different areas, different zones, edit maps, and that type of thing. But pretty much the hardware is all there, as long as you understand the requirements to get the distance that you really need and things that you can do, which I mentioned in this video. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope this video was helpful. I will see you guys on the next one.